All right. So as you can see here, this is a blurry image. Surgeons often experience a similar level of visibility while they're performing surgery, which is quite concerning if you are the patient that's being operated on. At VOPE Medical, we are solving this problem by delivering clear vision in endoscopic surgery to reduce surgical errors and improve operational efficiency. My name is Amy Lorincz, and I am the CEO and co-founder. Unclear vision is the leading source of inefficiency in surgery, where 37% of the total time, the view of the surgical site is obstructed due to contamination such as blood, fat, or fog that appears on a tiny camera lens that is used to see a picture of the patient's internal organs. And with 225 million endoscopic procedures performed annually worldwide, there is a significant need for innovation in the space as we trend towards surgeries that are safer for patients with smaller incisions and a lower recovery time. All of the surgeons that we interviewed want a less disruptive and a faster way to clean lens contamination. They are a big part of the value analysis buying committee in hospitals, so their input into bringing new surgical products into the market is extremely important in the decision-making process. The way that we are addressing this problem is using a real-time AI-enhanced surgical view with seamless endoscopic system integration. As you can see, there is an actual view of the surgical site that is really foggy due to condensation on the lens. And our software enhances this image in real time with running on our Edge platform. So here you can see a laparoscopy procedure where there's a lot of smoke from cauterization, and we are enhancing the output on the right to show improved depth and precision in surgery. This is from a proof of concept with a small amount of videos, but we are in the process of acquiring data from 50 patients, which will be proprietary to us, and we'll continue to build on this process. So our product is not only useful in surgeries in the abdomen, but also ear, nose, and throat surgeries. So this is a simulated contamination on the lens. And as the slide is going over, this is the enhanced image that you can see in real time, removing that to, again, improve depth, which is really important in surgery, and then reduces the need for the surgeon to remove the camera scope and clean it. So for our IP strategy, we are filing a patent for the systematic approach to improving the visual conditions in surgery. And this is also an approach to addressing all types of contamination within one model. And then additionally, because this is a computer vision problem that we're solving, there is also a patent that we'll be filing to mitigate any hallucinations to ensure that our model is predicting adequately based on what the surgeon is seeing and what's really happening inside the human body at that time. And then finally, as I mentioned, we have a proprietary data set that is added to our strategy and IP assets. The value that we create using an AI-driven image enhancement approach for patients is reducing up to 20% of surgical injuries that are attributed to unclear vision. We reduce the time in surgery by 10 minutes per procedure. So this is huge for helping get the buy-in from clinicians and reducing clinician burnout in that sales pipeline and the value analysis committees. And then finally, for hospitals, we can reduce operating room costs by $5 million per hospital from the time saved with our solution. Looking at the competitive landscape, we saw a market opportunity for a solution that addresses all types of contamination, so blood, fog, or fat that appears on the lens, and also integrates seamlessly with endoscopic equipment that's already on the market to save time and cost in surgery. One of our direct competitors is Stryker, where they use a hardware-based image enhancement approach to addressing lens contamination, but they only address fog contamination, and it's not a holistic solution. And additionally, they don't have supporting data to really show that they can add time savings in surgery. For indirect competitors, there's an irrigation product which could flood the lens with a saline solution. However, it's not compatible with all solutions. Other competitors are also developing new camera systems, which is difficult to get into the hospital market since these products are a very high upfront cost and they already have an existing infrastructure. Endoscopic procedures are increasing 5% annually as we trend towards those surgeries that are safer for patients. For the serviceable market that we're addressing, it's $3.9 billion in North America for all endoscopy procedures. And we're going to start with the North American laparoscopy market, which is $250 million. And that is the rigid scope, any abdomen, gynecological or urological procedure. And the reason why we're starting at that specialty first is because there's a trend towards acquiring laparoscopy companies addressing unclear vision in this space. New Wave Surgical was sold for $100 million in 2014 to Covidin, and they reduced scope removals, so removing the scope to clean it by 20%, but we're going for at least 40% of scope removals, reduced scope removals in that process. And additionally, there's a lot of supporting literature and data in this space. So that is why we've chosen this market first. Our pricing model is based on a edge device fee that is $100K per operating room. And then we have an annual service fee that's recurring for any maintenance. This is based on a $50 per surgery charge, which has been validated by surgeons, hospitals, and our commercial partners, and based on the number of surgeries that are performed in each OR. Our company will become profitable after 3 years based on a $5 million investment to commercialize. Each year, we'll be bringing on new hospitals and increasing that by 50%, and also increasing the number of operating rooms that our solution will be used in. And then finally, all of these projections include the number of ORs that we have our product in and the recurring revenue fee. We already have a first research revenue grant that we can access through St. Joseph's Hospital in Hamilton, and we will continue to leverage similar grants like that with hospitals close by in Montreal. And all of the hospitals that you can see here are part of KOLs, key opinion leaders that we have reached out with to and engaged with who are interested in having our solution in their operating rooms. Hospitals can perform 10% more surgeries on average with the time saved, which is huge in the backlog that has been created from the COVID pandemic. The hospital ROI is over 600%, and 1,000 more surgeries can be performed. For our distribution strategy, our phase 1 will target strategic clinical and hospital sales. So this is the USM 500. It's manufactured by NVIDIA. It's an off-the-shelf platform there where we run our software. The benefits for this is that we are autonomous in development, and then we will also market through distributors. For our second phase, we will target an integration with an OEM such as Medtronic or Olympus. This is a platform that they're developing and launching with their existing infrastructure. And they are wanting to partner with companies like ours to run our software. And the benefits are that we can scale at no cost and also distribute our product on these platforms with Olympus as well. Our team has over 20 years of experience in the medical device field. I've had the opportunity to work at Zimmer and Swift in both research and development on surgical robots, as well as managing the clinical validations. My co-founder, Tim, has worked on GI endoscopy applications and has a background in software engineering and has also built medical device products from TRL 0 to 7. And then we're also supported by our advisory board. We have an ENT surgeon, Dr. Tufik. We have Geraldine, who is the ex-CEO of an AI imaging medtech company in Montreal. And we meet with her weekly to consult on our commercialization and regulatory strategy. And then we also have Professor Lang, who's our computer vision expert. We are also leveraging a network of specialists to ensure our product reaches the market in the most effective way possible. We have Excite International, who is helping us design our clinical studies, and they're also running a panel with payers in the US to make sure that our product is being set up for reimbursement. We have BML Health, who is helping us develop our regulatory pathway. Olympus consults with us on our go-to-market strategy, and they're also interested in co-investing for our seed round. NVIDIA develops our AI edge platform. And then finally, St. Joseph's Hospital is where we'll be running our first clinical study. We're raising a pre-seed round to conduct our preclinical validation. We have completed our technical feasibility, which includes our proof of concept, and we validated it with various surgeons, about 40 surgeons in the market, to make sure that there is a need and interest that this could be brought in the market. And then additionally with Olympus, to make sure that our product can effectively integrate with their systems that they have on the market. For our pre-seed round, we'll be setting up our ITA and IDE, and additionally meeting with the FDA in January. And that will bring us to our seed round, where we will commercialize our device as a class 2, following a 510(k) pathway where we already have a predicate device identified. And then finally, our product will be commercialized in the first quarter of 2026. We are seeking a $700K investment from a lead investor, and this will help us accelerate our development by 9 to 12 months. So we'll really have that first market mover advantage. And we have $1 million of the raise accounted for, who are all interested in following once we find the lead. At VOPE Medical, we are delivering premier vision in surgery so that surgeons can focus on what matters. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Amy. All right, Farhana, do you want to kick us off this time with some feedback or questions for Amy?
Yeah, 100, like, so what I really, so once again, very similar to Clara is, good pace, nice clean slides, didn't read off the slide, all of that. In terms of structuring the problem, I thought you structured the problem really well. When I talked about sort of like putting the knife into the liver, when you're talking to a hospital, this costs them money. Like, it costs them money, and what you're doing is you're reducing and you're helping them save money, and they're going to react well to that. I liked, from a go-to-market perspective, the OEM component of it, I personally think is a very effective way. The part that I think you potentially want to add to your pitch is it reduces your cost of sale. So cost of sale for medical devices can be as high as 3x. And that is one of the things that you are reducing, especially by the OEM. And what you're doing is you're leveraging a trained sales force. They have the relationships, and that is all of the things that you do not have to build going down the OEM path. So I think that is one area that you perhaps want to address. The part that I wasn't clear on is all of this, like, it's only you and your co-founder, right? Who is doing the development component of it, like in terms of the various pieces? So perhaps adding a bit more clarity on that in terms of who on the team, or is that what you're seeking? Like, when you did your proof of concept, my assumption is it was more like focus groups and validating the need and that you are addressing a problem. But how do you go from there to that next stage? It's unclear, and the time frame is not very long. So that's the part that I think was missing. So, and I'll add more feedback in the feedback. Piece.
Thanks. Great feedback.
Okay, Alec.
Yeah, my turn. I think same comment I think I made last time. I think you have a really impressive team. And I think you should mention who the team is before the IP strategy slide.
Okay.
You talk about the problem. The videos are great. Actually, I could see them this time. They're really cool, actually. Last time I was on my mobile phone, so on an LTE, so it wasn't that clear. Really cool stuff, actually. Like, I don't doubt the technology at all. I think it's totally feasible. But I think putting the team before the IP one just bumps up the credibility of absolutely everything you're saying. So great background that you and your partner have. So that's fantastic. That said, around the team, I do agree with Farhana. I mean, I'd like to know if you're part-time or you're full-time. I'd like to know how you're going to expand that, obviously, later. The thing with investors, you always ask more questions. So even though your presentation's great, there's always something more they want to know. But like, what is the use of funds? So how are you going to expand that out later on in the deck when you talk about the raise? I like with Stryker, you didn't talk about how there was an issue. I think that they weren't selling product, so that was great. You mentioned New Wave. I think that's a great data point. It is a little bit old, so I would always try to address that right away, saying 2014, but the problem exists. I don't know. Maybe the AI technology has only come around now, but the problem still exists. So, because it is an old data point from a M&A standpoint. I mean, I was also wondering the actual removal to clean the scope. Like, how hard is that? How hard is it to do that?
It's not difficult, and it's the gold standard. It just is frustrating, leads to more time in surgery. That's the major pain point from that.
Right. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't know how this works, but I imagine there must be, like, they don't have to pull everything out and put it all back in. There must be some way to clean it. But anyways, maybe that's just a little side thought, to explain, how you're making this that much easier. There was an interesting stuff around the USM 500. So that was new, I think, from the last presentation I saw too. But I don't understand what that is. Like, is this a general medical device or something that NVIDIA provides, or what is that device?
It's essentially the edge device that will run our models until we'd integrate with like a Medtronic or Olympus, so we can stay autonomous and don't sign any exclusivity agreements early on. And I should have added as well, 60601 compliant, can be used in an OR. Not much needs to be done on our side, so I could highlight that.
Right. So like it's like buying a laptop, but it's actually a medical device that goes in an OR. Okay, yeah, I've never heard of that before. But that, explaining that a little bit would address some of my concerns, because before it wasn't clear to me how the edge device was going to link into the overall system and stuff like that. So if there is something kind of pre-packaged, pre-approved, and meets those standards that you can pop in, that's a great point, I think. It really is. Yeah, and I wouldn't oversell the OEM integration. So I've done lots of OEM integrations in the past, and it doesn't always go that smoothly. And it's not like, oh, I give them my software, no support at all scales. It's not like that. It's actually quite difficult. If it's possible to have an edge device that you sell for 100K that sits on the side, that was a much better strategy, if possible, if you can avoid the integration. So, I mean, don't oversell it, because some people may not agree with that, I guess. I also thought, so the slide around the product roadmap and the tech validation, that's all great. That's exactly the kind of stuff I want to see. I liked that. When you mentioned the raise, so you mentioned Olympus twice. That is such a key point. Like, for an investor, that will seal the deal. Like, if they know you have a strategic investing, it's going to leave so many technical concerns. That said, it wasn't in your list of your raise of the $1 million already soft committed.
They come
So-
in at the seed round and we're raising a pre-seed.
Ah,
So,
I see.
yeah,
Okay.
until then they're mentoring us until the seed stage.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess that is what you said. I just didn't realize that until you clarified that. It would be great to have them in at the pre-seed,
Yeah.
or make sure you mention that they're coming in later for the seed round.
Sure.
That's a huge de-risker, basically. So yeah, that's great. And I would, yeah, I would continue to emphasize that, or stick a little star next to them or something, so that's a big plus. But yeah, good. It really covers everything. Yeah, I think, yeah, addressing some of those last points would, address some of my technical and integration concerns. So yeah, well done.
Thanks.